The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It is Wednesday, and what a hump it is. My God, what a hump. This is one heck of a hump this week. I was talking to a friend of mine, Logan Raddick. He's a reporter here for NEWSMAX in Washington, D.C., and we carpool in the morning. Actually, I just do the driving because, he rides the metro normally. We have a nice conversation. I subject him to my music, so he usually, by the time he gets here, he just immediately goes in and puts on some noise-canceling headphones and rocks back and forth in the fetal position on the ground. Because most people don't like to listen to, Metallica at 8:30 in the morning at a high volume. But I do. That's how I roll, actually. Not too loud, but certainly loud. And he was saying, hey, man, does it feel like it should be a lot later in the week than Wednesday? And I said, oh, man, I can feel it. I can really, really feel it. Yes, I do feel like this week is a little, moving a little slow. I had friends, I was just taping part of my TV show over the weekend, and I got it done. I thought I was ahead of the game. Found out I used the wrong background, so I have to retape the whole thing. And, now that I'm no longer working in my home, I have to watch my language. So hence the soundproofing on the room, and hopefully some of that didn't get out because wasn't too happy about it anyway. Oh, my God. Tim Curry passed away, by the way. So, they always say it comes in threes, whatever. I hate that crap because it's dismissive of people, their lives ending. But Tim Curry was an actor, obviously. A number of things. Hunt for Red October. The Hunt for Red October. It's a shame he slipped on tea. I know that's not Tim Curry, that's Sean Connery, but he was in the movie. He was in Rocky Horror Picture Show. Remember Rocky Horror Picture Show? Years and years ago, when I was in college, we used to have that. We do a 3 nights, performance of the show or airing of the movie on Halloween. You know what? It's a goofy, weird movie. Whatever, Meatloaf was in it and all of that stuff. But Tim Curry was the original. He was the original clown from It. He was the original Pennywise. He was actually, I think, the scariest of all of them because he was very real. No AI, none of that stuff. He was just genuinely frightening. So there is that. And of course, today, the first day in 80 years, we've awakened without Dolly Parton. And I got to tell you, what an amazing life. And I enjoyed the tribute so much. From her and Kim Klacik at WCBM. She even wore tassels and cowboy boots today for her radio program. Preceding me today, I thought that was really cool. Cross-cultural, cross-generational, literally 4 generations of music and people impacted by the great Dolly Parton. So there you go. That's what's happening. Oh, here's this. Meta settled a social media addiction case with California and other states. Now, $16.7 billion, which Mark Zuckerberg keeps in a safe in his bedroom. I mean, honestly, this is pennies on the dollar. The case was brought by 29 states, led by California Attorney General Rob Bonta and AGs from Colorado, New Jersey, and Kentucky. The settlement was revealed in a court filing released Wednesday that details several requirements Meta must make to its apps as part of a proposed consent judgment. Those changes include daily usage limits for the kids, nighttime blocks for teenagers, and then that the company's apps like Facebook and Instagram enhance age assurance measures that would prevent children from using the apps, and the creation of additional tools for parents and guardians. And, of course, they're paying $16.7 million. Most of it will go to trial attorneys, court costs and all that crap. And if you're part of the settlement, you might get, if you're a teenager, I don't know, who used Meta, you're going to get a check for anywhere between $1.50 to maybe as much as $4 in the mail. You'll get it, and it'll have a big agreement you got to sign that you're not going to sue for anything else and all that, and then you'll get your check for $1.50 to $4. But a whole bunch of lawyers are going to get some really nice mansions and helicopters and all sorts of crap about it, because that's just the way it works with these class action lawsuits brought by states. Because really, is it really about protecting the kids? Is it? Somebody said that Curry was in Muppet Treasure Island too. I don't recall Muppet Treasure Island, because, it's Muppet Treasure Island. Never saw that one, I don't think. I've seen a lot of Muppet movies. There have been a lot of Muppet movies. Haven't seen that one. But I'll take your word for it on that, by the way. So a lot of things, a lot of strikes happening with regard to the Democrat Party being able to steal elections. And honestly, this Democrat Party is about as evil as you could possibly imagine. The Democrat Party is weaponized the DOJ to go after not only Donald Trump but also his supporters, censored free speech, has opened the southern border to 20 million people, many of them military-aged men and women. They have believed and signed on to children becoming transgenderized and becoming mutilated eunuchs for life. They were all about the COVID lockdowns and shutdowns, even shutting down churches. They're letting in the Democrat Socialists of America, who are communists in sheep's clothing. And the Democrat Party is broken beyond belief. The heads of the Democrat Party do not represent the people, the rank and file, I think, at least in flyover country, not the bat guano crazy leftist crazy cat ladies, hippie dippy boomers from the 60s who, still, worship the Weather Underground and Bill Ayers, those people who've never learned a damn thing about history, and, the Bernie Sanders acolytes and all that. But there are a good deal of people in states like Michigan. For instance, 27% of the people who, the Democrats who did not vote for Abdul al-Sayed, are saying, we're going to vote for Mike Rogers. We're going to vote for a Republican because we would rather vote for that than the insanity of the Democrat Party. And day after day, week after week, the Democrat Party is losing its tools for election theft, election rigging, weighing the scale. We all know that they let in all those people across the southern border and gave them all sorts of free stuff, was to get them driver's license, get them IDs, get them signed up to vote. Hundreds of thousands of them are registered to vote. Massive numbers in states like California, and of course we found out in New Jersey, not only were at least 6,600, some say as many as 16 or 18,000 were signed up, registered to vote, and at least 400 of them voted. And it's all the plan. That's all the plan. And one of the things that they use is mail-in voting. Have you noticed that we used to do a thing where you'd go to a place called a polling place, and you would vote there, and you'd fill out a little ballot, maybe originally with a number 2 pencil. Then they had this thing, you'd punch the ballot, and there were some hanging chads. No, Hunter, it's not what you think. And then, of course, they went into the electronic voting machines, which, some might say are about as accurate as, casino electronic poker games, because, whatever. Anyway, Democrats admit 25 to 30% of their voters vote by mail because, you can sign up and you can cheat, you see. They're fighting tooth and nail to block proof of citizenship. They're fighting to stop the Save America Act, which requires people to prove that they're a citizen to vote, which is one of the rights of citizenry, you see. The Supreme Court just shut them down 6-3. Fight isn't over yet, but they're quite butthurt that the Supreme Court came down on them. And all of these things add up to one thing. Democrats cannot win elections on the issues because when they are in power, they fail colossally, like Joe Biden. And to get into power, the only way they can win is to cheat. gerrymandering. There's another thing that they took away racial gerrymandering in some districts, which is of course illegal. And then of course now the latest thing that they've been doing, which is mail-in ballots. A lot of times, stopping for instance, in 2020, stopping the counting of the ballots in the middle of the night, and then the next morning, millions of mail-in ballots coming in almost exclusively for Joe Biden. I don't know. No, that isn't cheating. No, that's not cheating. That's just luck of the draw. Luck of the draw that 95% of the ballots that came in after the mail-in ballot boxes were filled that night were for Joe Biden. And it happens all over the country, allegedly, supposedly, as my friend Rob Fennerty likes to say. A great guy, Mike Davis, with the he's a pundit. He's with the Article 3 Project, and here he is talking with, I believe, Steve Bannon about the Democrats being all butthurt because the Supreme Court says you got to be who you say you are when you mail in ballot.
President Trump issued an executive order. He ordered the Postmaster General of the United States to work with the Attorney General of the United States, to work with the Secretary of Homeland Security, to come up with a plan to ensure we have election integrity.
Whoa, no. The Democrat Party says it's because they're going to rig the election by ensuring integrity. Okay, never mind.
To ensure that non-citizens and other illegal aliens are not getting...
You can't say that.
Mail,
but I guess you kind of did.
Ballots through the U.S. Postal Service. When you commit election fraud through mail, that is mail fraud. That's a federal crime. So President Trump is telling his key officials, work together, come up with the plan, and the plan includes working with DHS, coming up with a list of citizens, non-citizens, comparing that list against these state voter rolls, and then telling the Postal Service that you can't mail ballots to non-citizens. That's a violation of federal law for non-citizens.
Yeah, because the Postal Service is the federal agency.
To vote in federal elections. Of course, these Democrat governors, 23 Democrat governors.
Why is it only the Democrats? Because Democrats cheat.
The D.C. mayor's office ran to this Obama judge in Boston, this left-wing whack job.
Of course.
Obama judge in Boston who issued an injunction against this executive order. All
right, we got a little bit more from Mike Davis on the other side of the break. Also, a U.S. Air Force major hit with rare criminal military charges for protesting in front of the Capitol and saying Donald Trump should be removed from office and impeached. He's going to be spending some time in the Stony Lonesome. We'll get to all of that coming up. Here's the number, 800-922-6680. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor.
news at the top of the hour and again at the bottom of the hour. Then back to the top for more.
That's why it's important you listen to us.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
It is the Rob Carson Show on a Wednesday. We got lots to get to as the show progresses today. We're talking a little bit about mail-in voting and how the Democrat Party has used it to bastardize the voting process. I mean, they really have. They've bastardized the voting process. We all know that they're using illegals. They're getting on voter rolls. There's no doubt about it. This, according to the DHS, 190,000 non-citizen registered to vote in California. Why do non-citizens register to vote? What are they expecting to do when they register to vote? What do you suppose it is? 35,000 non-citizens in New Jersey, the state where we just found out that at least 400 of them have voted, but I'm sure more. 15,000 non-registered in Nevada. About 16,000 registered in Pennsylvania, and 400,000 deceased registrants, and over 28,000 non-citizens across states that shared their election files with the department. So we have massive corruption in the country as far as voter fraud is concerned. Allegedly, supposedly, right? Whatever. Anyway, Mike Davis was talking about this judge that they went to stop Donald Trump's ruling, executive order, that the U.S. mail is not going to deliver ballots that are filled in by people who are not citizens. You've got to fill in your ballot if you're a citizen. If you're a non-citizen, you can't vote. Here is Mike Davis.
The First Circuit Court of Appeals, another left-wing court, went along with this Obama judge. The Supreme Court, in this 6-3 ruling on the emergency dockets, lifted the injunction, said that...
And, of course, the three liberal idiot judges voted against it.
The president can move forward with his executive branch officials and come up with a plan because these Democrat governors, these 23 Democrat governors and the D.C. Democrat mayor don't have standing. They're not injured by the president telling his executive...
They're just getting on the bandwagon because they want to keep cheating.
...branch officials to come up with a plan. So what the plan looks like is going to happen, you're going to see final rules out of the Postal Service. Tomorrow, it looks like, and other agencies where they're going to put barcodes on these envelopes and these ballots for election integrity. So when these ballots go through, we can actually see if these federal elections are being flooded with illegal voters. Well, we know that they are because the Democrats are fighting so hard, not only to stop the Save America Act with proof of citizenship and voter ID that has the support of 80% of Americans, but now they are ferociously fighting President Trump when he's just trying to have his Postal Service make sure that these postal workers are not carrying out mail fraud on behalf of the Democrat Party.
So there you go. So there is that, and it looks like that my computer is frozen up here real quick. So what I have to do is I'm going to have to end this this program that I'm running, and then we. back on here. There, oh, hey, ho, hi, nice to see you, nice to see you. I'll have to turn down the AC a little bit here in a little while because it's getting a little warm in here. Here is a little bit more from Mike Davis. These Democrat governors are claiming some sort of injury because, illegals in their states that they've loaded up with free stuff like hotel rooms and child care and SNAP benefits and all that can't vote.
So we'll see what happens. As the Supreme Court said, there's not injury now for these governors. There could be a plaintiff who claims injury after the final rule comes out, but it's kind of interesting. What exactly is their injury? If you are a non-citizen, you can't vote. Democrats
lose. There's the injury. Democrats lose. Do you ever notice the Democrats have no friggin' platform at all? Have you noticed at all? It's, we hate Donald Trump, we hate Donald Trump sucks, Donald Trump is he's Nazis or whatever. They got no platform. You know why? Because they spent the last decade just hating Trump.
In federal elections, and the states can send out these ballots if they want to do their mass voter fraud, if they want to keep doing these mass ballots, send it out via UPS, send it out via FedEx, send it out via carrier pigeon.
Sure.
But you just can't use the Postal Service to commit voter fraud for your mail fraud.
Yeah, so what do they resort to when they can't do fraud? Well, it's fear-mongering. Here's Ayanna Pressley at an Ed Markey event saying the Confederacy is still alive.
It is bigger than Trump. Because whenever we do the work of ousting the occupant of the Oval Office, the Confederacy is still alive and well.
The Confederacy is still alive and well. It's the Democrats were the Confederates.
That's all my days. Yeah. White supremacy is still alive and well.
Yeah, white supremacy is still alive and well. No, it's not, because we all know that the SPLC was behind that bullcrap psyop from 2012 until now about white supremacy. But there they go again. They're desperate. They have no ideas. They have no plan. They failed during Joe Biden's presidency, and they are going to fail because they can't steal elections anymore. All right, there you go. There you go. It's not looking good for the Democrats in the midterms. All right? Stay focused, stay strong, vote, and overwhelm them with joy and faith and patriotism. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, two things matter the most. It works, and you can trust it. We hear from people every day whose lives have been changed. We'd like to hear your stories. Pastor Bill strained his back around Christmas 2025, was in tremendous pain. After starting Relief Factor, within a few days, his pain was gone. He had full flexibility. He calls it a miracle and recommends it to anyone dealing with pain. I lift heavy weights when I work out. My elbow was really starting to bother me, and I started Relief Factor, and it's fine now. So if you're ready to believe in miracles, try Relief Factor. Get a 3-week quick start for just $17.76. See why so many people tell us Relief Factor gave them their lives back. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular NEWSMAX Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of NEWSMAX shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the NEWSMAX Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. You may not remember every time you toss, turn, or wake up hot, but your body does. That's why you wake up tired before the day even starts. That's why I got a Ghost Bed, the best bed in the history of mankind. Ghost Bed is engineered to help reduce the reasons your sleep gets interrupted. Ghost Bed is designed to relieve pressure, help regulate temperature, support your body. Cooling technology built into every mattress and made in the USA. With Ghost Bed's 101 night trial, you can try it at home because the real test of a mattress is how you feel in the morning. If you're waking up sore or tired before the day even starts, check out Ghost Bed. For a limited time during Ghost Bed's Labor Day sale, they're offering my audience an extra 10% off their lowest prices of the season. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. A little Metallica for you. I actually listened to this on the way in this morning. Welcome to the Rob Carson Show. We have much coming up on the show. Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaver is going to join us next hour. And then Catalina Luff, she was a Florida GOP candidate and a Gen Z influencer. I want to ask her about a number of things. So we'll have her in the final hour of the radio program today. Stephen Turley is fantastic. And he's very optimistic as I with regard to the midterms, and for all of the obvious reasons. The Democrat Party is having the mechanism of its ability to cheat in elections slowly stripped away. They have no message. They offer nothing but pure darkness and awfulness. All of their policies absolutely fail, and they are right now leaning into Marxism, socialism, communism. So the party is in the middle of a civil war. They're trying to put on some sort of, I guess, brave face, although they're the most cowardly people you could possibly imagine. And as we did in 2024, I believe that we will the joy and the faith and the patriotism of that election will resonate again, because we are coming together, and this includes, by the way, particularly in the state of Michigan, 27% of Democrats who voted for the other candidate other than Abdul Al-Sayed, 27% of those people are going to vote for Mike Rogers. I haven't seen that in forever. Have you? Have you ever seen that? There used to be a time if you didn't like your candidate, you might consider voting for if you're a Republican voting for a Democrat, or a Democrat voting for a Republican. More so Democrats voting for Republicans, because the Democrat Party right now is intellectually and morally bankrupt and has been completely corrupted at least the last 20 to 25 years. So if you become a Democrat, you're either smoking crack or I don't know what the hell your problem is, having some sort of a mental breakdown. Back to Stephen Turley. Here he is talking about the Democrat Party losing its voters. And listen again, what did I tell you? I told you in the 2024 election, 80% of us believed the country was headed in the wrong direction under Joe Biden. It was. The economy was terrible. Do you remember Oliver Anthony, rich men north of Richmond? Do you remember friggin', the price of everything going through the ceiling like a used car? You suddenly... The average $27,000 for a used car. That happened during Joe Biden. You used to be able to go to Walmart, fill your cart with $250 in groceries. Now you can't fill the bottom of the dang thing. Do I need to recite the prices again? I can recite the prices again. Used to buy salmon on sale, $7.99. You're lucky you can get it for $12 a pound now. Used to be able to buy ribeye steak, $9.99. Can't get under $16. Used to be able to buy filet mignon, $12.99. You can't get under $23.99 a pound for filet mignon. I know this because I lived it. The Democrat Party has the crap touch. It is the opposite of the Midas touch. I came up with that years ago. I said crap touch. Here, do you want me to prove it to you? I'll just prove it to you. Here, I came up with this when Joe Biden was the president of the United States, and other people have tried to steal it. Oh, no, it's not going to show up here. What the hell's the deal? Crap touch. Where's my crap touch? Here it is. Here's the crap touch. I came up with this years ago. Crap touch. Yeah, the southern border. Joe Biden decides to open it.
Crap touch.
Your COVID, mandates.
Crap touch.
Everything touched turned to absolute crap. Now, let's go back to Stephen Turley about Democrats leaving the Democrat Party. And it's good. It's good. I told you, the Democrat Party would have to reinvent itself or disappear into the dustbin of history.
A candidacy like El Sayed splits the left and unites the right, such that more people are going to...
Splits the left. Okay, so 100% of the Democrat voters, voted for either El Sayed or the woman who sounded like Chris Farley. And now half of those people, 27%, are going to vote Republican. You see what I just did there?
They come out opposing him than supporting him. And that's exactly what you saw over the weekend with the Democrats from Mike Rogers' rally that we were just watching.
Yeah, they've created a movement, Democrats for Mike Rogers.
Centrist Democrats would rather vote against the radical Marxists.
Yeah, because they don't want communism and Islamism. And they look over there and they don't like rallies of Islamists saying death to America. They want them all removed from the country.
Then vote Democrat. So they're siding with Mike Rogers.
Yeah, and then a lot of Democrat politicians also doing the same thing. Here is Representative Josh Gottheimer. Is he going to vote for, is he going to support Abdul El Sayed?
I know this is a hypothetical, but as obviously you're a lifelong Democrat, if you were a Michigan voter, how would you vote in the Senate race?
I'll just make it clear. There's no way I'm ever coming out for Al Sayed right now. I'm like,
whoa, hold on, really? Well, I got to hear that again.
If you were a Michigan voter, how would you vote in the Senate race?
I'll just make it clear. There's no way I'm ever coming out for Al Sayed right now. I'm like, this is a guy who has made it very clear his views toward, and has refused to back off his views toward Jewish Americans. And I hope he comes out and clarifies where he is. I also hope that he does the right thing and condemns Hassan Piker clearly and the language very clearly.
He hasn't done that. He's a big believer. They're good buddies, and it's because they believe the same thing.
I'm pro stealing from big corporations. We must end the American empire.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
We're a big tent. I may not agree with lots of opinions from some folks who are in DSA, but we're going to need everybody.
You have some of these incumbents who have lost their re-elections in places like New York and Colorado. And what does that say about the party today, do you think?
It says that the party is going to win the Congress.
We need a big tent, and I think people like Piker should be welcome into that.
The Democratic Party is a big tent party. We've always...
Hassan Piker should be invited into the big tent. I have an introduction for Hassan Piker. You guys want to hear it? You're going to like this, particularly you Gen Xers. Here's my new introduction for Hassan Piker.
No one shall pass Hassan.
Help! Save me, pal! Save me! Help!
Hassan Chop!
Hassan Chop!
Hassan Chop!
There you go.
Bingo that away.
That's almost as good as Francesca Hong and Hong Kong Phooey. That was pretty darn good. Wasn't it a good one? I thought it was a pretty good one. Oh, yeah, here's Hassan Piker. Here's Hassan Piker wanting to send the Jews back to Auschwitz. That's where they murdered them. That's where the Nazis murdered them.
Remember 9/11. Shut up. Go back to Auschwitz. Remember 9/11. You know?
Yeah, there's no walking away from that, especially when you glad hand that SOB the night before your primary victory there, son. I'll just call him son, Abdul El Sayed, all 5'4" of him. Here is a little montage. This is Jesse Waters and Abdul El Sayed, who is Sharia compliant, which usually doesn't agree with the Judeo-Christian ethics.
Getting rid of Sharia law's white supremacy. Can you explain that one?
I don't begrudge you your right to practice your faith as you choose. I don't know why the idea that I could practice my faith as I choose is a problem.
Because your faith wants to take over the whole damn world and says death to America and death to Israel. And some of your acolytes flew planes into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon and into the ground in Pennsylvania.
Sharia law, not a winning issue.
They commit acts of 50,000 acts of terrorism in the last 45 years.
Michigan. That's the kind of answer. It's not going to go over well there. Abdul knows it. That's why today he put on a yarmulke.
Yeah, listen to this.
I'm grateful to have grown up in a community where I got so much exposure and empowerment from the Jewish community.
I love those Jewish animals. People, those pigs. I mean, people of the Jewish faith.
I'm so grateful. Judaism and the Jewish people are a light unto the world.
Yeah.
Incredible contributions to our society, our culture.
Yeah.
A beautiful faith that rhymes with so much of my own.
Yeah, absolutely. This is why this is your best friend.
Remember 9/11. Shut up. Go back to Auschwitz. Remember 9/11.
Yeah, nobody believes you there, Abdul Hassan.
You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Are you tired?
Some say I look like I'm wearing a Western vest today. I wouldn't say it's exactly Western, it's just a vest. I just thought I'd wear a vest today. You know, because I'm not spending all my money on wife and kids. I'm actually able to, buy some clothes myself. Come on, I mean... Your mom said it to you. Your mom said, I work my fingers to the bone for you, and I go without you while you guys got new shoes. And well, I did. I drove an old minivan for many years. 2006 Honda minivan, and That's what I drove. I might as well just left my manhood in a drawer, locked in the master bedroom. I did actually. I did do that. So now I'm able to actually wear some. I got to play my Hassan Piker introduction again.
No one shall pass Hassan. Help! Save me, pal! Save me! Help! Hassan Chop!
Hassan Chop!
Hassan Chop!
There you go.
Bingo that away.
Bingo that away. Yeah, if you ever have become a friend with somebody like that, or you've ever glad-handed someone like that, or you've ever done campaign rallies with someone like that, you can never hold public office. So this is why Abdul al-Sayed is going to get destroyed by Mike Rogers in the fall. There is no doubt about that. And of course, he's a Sharia adherent, and he's doing everything he can to act like, it's not a big deal, even though, there's a big movement in the United States of America and across Europe and in Canada where Islamists who I guess represent a very large portion of the Islamic community, and they want to take over and rule people with Sharia law. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact. We have imams leading mosques in this country and around the world in an attempt to overthrow Western civilization and return us to the 7th century Islamic hell. That's just it. If you are a peaceful and good worshiper, follower of Islam, how about you speak up for a change? Because you've had 25 years to do it since 9/11. We've always been open. We've always been welcome. We've always said, let's work on this together. Let's end the scourge of Islamic terror. And yet I'm still not seeing any weekend walks and runs to end Islamic terror. I'm not seeing large groups of people at mosques getting together and singing "Give Peace a Chance." Are you hearing any of that? Nope. It's just getting bigger. And in places like Dearborn, they get 50,000 people out waving Islamic flags and saying "Death to America" and "Death to Israel." So, again, you picked a really bad time, a really bad year to try to take over the United States, not only as Marxist, communist, socialist, but also Islamist. Here's Dana Lash going off on Abdul al-Sayed and Sharia.
What he said about Sharia law was ridiculous. I live down 114 from Irving, Texas. Abdul al-Sayed says that there's no Sharia, there's no threat of that in the United States. Let me introduce him, which I'm sure he's already familiar with, the Islamic Tribunal in Irving, Texas, which absolutely did establish a Sharia court in the United States, in Irving, Texas. That's the clock boy town. That's also the town where a man named Yasser Saeed honor killed his 2 daughters back in 2012, 2013, because they were too
Catholics don't do that a lot. Ever.
So he can sit here and spare us the cowardly dodges about all of that. He's shown us who he is, which is why he is barely eking out an advantage. And
no, he's not. He's 4 points behind. Actually, he's 4 points behind. And plus, on top of all that, he is a card-carrying socialist / communist.
Are you in favor of public ownership models like the one Bernie introduced?
So I want to actually take it a step further.
Okay.
I agree that we need public ownership. But I also agree that we need some system of public control.
Yeah.
What is the point of democracy if it's not to protect us from existential risk?
Yeah, we've already got plenty of regulation.
Yeah. And right now, there is no regulation, and these super PACs are rendering AI potentially unregulatable into the future.
Absolutely wrong. We are over-regulated, if anything. And then, of course, also, he's down with the always failed takeover by government of medicine.
What Medicare for All does is instead of having a whole bunch of payers, you have one payer, right? And that is the federal government. It ensures you the minute you're born, the minute you turn 26, the minute you get married, the minute you get divorced, the minute you get a job, the minute you lose a job, the minute you turn 16.
It also ensures that you're going to get substandard care. You're going to stand in line, and you're eventually going to have to go to another country to get good care. Because anytime the government takes forever over something, there's a really good chance it's going to operate very poorly. It's obvious. It's operate very poorly compared to the private sector, i.e. Driver's License Bureau. Anybody? Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
NEWSMAX, you like NEWSMAX. I like it too. NEWSMAX, you like NEWSMAX.
For immediate access, get all of President Trump's most report, our Melania documentary.
Dermer, serving Baltimore. .9 FM.
We have a state to save Michigan. My name is Cynthia Haynes, and I'm a resident of Flint, Michigan. I was a Democrat for 37 years. I left the party. I've been an independent for about 3 years. I got to go for morals. And see, that's one thing I like about Mike Rogers. He's talking about faith, family, and finances. His character...
That's really weird because socialists, they don't believe in God.
...is amazing. His wife, Christy, is amazing. And he's just so honest. And I told him, I'm like, when I talk with Mr. Rogers, I'm like, look, Mr. Rogers, you know, hey, I need for you to be gangster, to go in there and get this. I need for you to be real 100 in my community. He is just so authentic, and he's a man of God, and I love it.
Wow.
My name is Cynthia Haynes. I'm from Flint, and I'm with Mike Rogers because he will get to work for neighborhoods like mine. Let's get to work.
Come on now. And, you know, everything negative about Michigan when Detroit went south and whatnot was all Democrats. It was all Democrats. There was an opportunity for greatness once again for Michigan. Michigan, of course, known for being the automotive building capital of the world, and that's coming back. It is coming back. Kelsey Grammer the other night was on with Laura Ingraham talking about the DSA, and I believe, as I told you earlier, using a racing car analogy, the DSA has already hit the outer wall and is careening and spinning into the infield on the race into November.
Yeah, the leadership in communism always wants to be in the leadership. It's a great place to be, but if you're with the people, I mean, this isn't my thing. They want to do away with prisons, but they want to establish what they call re-education camps.
Yeah, I know.
You know? So you get to go to camp, and you either just disappear there, die there, like Solzhenitsyn was, you know, spent 30 years, I think, in prison.
Yeah.
Just for having a different opinion.
I know,
that's the kind of nonsense they were going to pass on us if they ever get traction.
They won't.
I actually don't think they will.
What?
I think the people of the United States, the workers of the United States.
Because I have faith in you too, by the way. I had faith in you in 2024. I had faith in you in 2020. Homeboys, hillbillies, Hebrews.
I mean, they have to have a job. These guys aren't going to give them jobs. President Trump has done more for, like, the United Auto Workers of America than any other president in my lifetime.
Yeah, he got their endorsement in the last election.
And I don't think this stuff's going to, like, really succeed. I just think the Democrats want to, like, latch onto something. I mean, even Gavin Newsom just is sort of drafting off this idea that capitalism doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work in California because it doesn't exist in California.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But government programs frequently disappoint. Kelsey Grammer.
Doesn't work. We've had Social Security forever. It's always out of money. And that's the greatest like socialist program we have in our country.
Our government is $40 trillion in debt. And these idiots want to turn everything over to the government to run. Name a company that's $40 trillion in debt.
Country. Nobody wants to lose it, but it doesn't work right. When 62.
Let's let them run medicine and building cars.
1,000 Social Security Administration employees. Why? Why would we just allow people to invest 12% of their income themselves and retire on it? They'd all be millionaires.
Well, coming up next hour, proof that socialism works if a country stops being socialist. Sweden, always used as an example of how socialism works. They had to turn away from it 30 years ago. Also, a U.S. Air Force major is going to be spending some time in prison for saying remove Donald Trump from office and impeach him. That's all coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
Hold it now. Live from NEWSMAX Studios in Washington, D.C., the most interesting, informative, and funny show in America, on air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. Welcome to it. At the bottom of the hour, Tony Shaffer, president of Project Sentinel, is going to be joining us to talk about what's going on with Iran and this D-Day. They call it the D-Day, economic D-Day for them, by the way. Could be economic D-Day for Canada deciding to pick a trade war with the United States. And by the way, many Democrats are in on this. They want to damage Donald Trump's presidency and economy. There's no doubt about it. And I don't think it's a good idea. I was just checking out this little post this morning about Canada's top export markets. And if we wanted to, and because I like the Canadian people. It's just you choose idiots to run your country. So Carney is the enemy of the United States of America. People of Canada are not. They are not. So you look at all of the other export markets for Canada. I'll just start with number 10 as a tie between Italy and India, $2.8 billion. France, $3.6 billion. South Korea, 5.1, Mexico, 6.4, Germany, 6.6, Netherlands, 6.8, Japan, $10.4 billion exported to these countries. China, $24 billion, United Kingdom, $33 billion, United States. You're thinking that's got to be like, if the UK is 33, we got to be like $40 billion, right? No, $400 billion. So, and then we also import $258 billion. So we buy their crap, and we export crap to them. And so we could easily kind of, do some damage to them. It's all a political ploy. It's all one of the many tricks that the globalists like Carney and Democrats are trying to do to C-block Donald Trump going into this election. Ain't gonna work. You got elections going all over the country. I'm very optimistic about Florida as far as the Senate race there. I'm optimistic about Michigan as far as the Senate race there. I'm pretty optimistic about Maine with Susan Collins because, she always is behind by 4 and wins by 8, and they've got a loser boy from hell running as the Democrat, so there is that. So I'm really optimistic about him. I know everybody is. I refuse to let fear guide my life. I'm so tired of Republicans who, what was me? We're going to stay at home. Shut up. No, we're not. If you believe that, how about shut up? We're girded for battle. We know what we're up against. We're going to beat it into hell. That's what we're going to do. So knock it off. Knock off your crybaby, whiny bullcrap. I told you about this woman the other day when I was down at the Grand Prix. And she's like, well, I hope we can win. I said, oh, really? And I did the analogy. Did Dwight D. Eisenhower look at his troops getting ready to go up, storm Omaha Beach, and say, well, I sure hope you can beat that Nazis. Because, if you don't, then you're all going to be murdered. Really? Okay, sure. No. Go in there, gentlemen, and kick their asses. And we did. That's just the way it works. Byron Donalds is running in the state of Florida for governor. He's an unbelievable dude. And he has got I don't know a whole lot about this guy, who is a running mate named Avila. And clearly, this man is well positioned as someone whose parents escaped socialism because socialism is a failure. For some odd reason, this Angie Nixon decided, because she's not a bright bulb, that she would just suddenly become a Democrat socialist because she's a clueless moron. Radical clueless moron. Decides going into this election, I'm just going to suddenly become what a good deal of Floridians escaped from. There you go. I mean, genius. Here is his running mate Avila yesterday at the announcement of being Byron Donald's running mate.
My parents fled communist Cuba and left behind their home and their business because they knew what happens when government takes over, when freedom despairs, and when socialism turns an opportunity into misery. My parents came to America.
That's a pretty good start there from Brian. No, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting his name. It is Brian Avila. I apologize for that. A little cloudy because of the meds today. I'm just going to tell you, a little cloudy from the meds, and they're legal. They're legal, by the way, not anything. And Hunter, don't call me because they are legal, and you can't have them. But anyway, yeah, there you go. That's a good start. Choose the son of Cuban expats to run against a socialist. And by the way, Byron Donald says David Jolly is a Trojan horse for the DSA.
Seeking something very special to each and every one of us. Mm-hmm. Freedom. Yeah. For me, it's an honor to be here at the Freedom Tower.
Yeah.
Because this is the beacon of freedom.
Yeah. Freedom is good.
My parents, like many of you and many of your siblings, they found that freedom here in the great state of Florida. Yeah. So when I hear Democrats casually embracing socialism, I know where that road leads.
Yep.
Our families have lived it.
Yep.
I can assure you this.
Yep.
With Byron Donald as governor and me as your lieutenant governor, socialism will never find a home in the great state of Florida.
And it's not going to find a home in the capital of the United States of America. We fought wars over it. Did you realize political scientist R.J. Rummel calculated that the Soviet regime based on socialism and communism killed 61 million of its own people? There you go. That's how it works. In China, historian Frank Decatter's archival research puts the Great Leap forward. Famine death toll at 45 million after the state seized control of grain production and falsified grain reports. It's always been a failure. And a lot of let's look at socialism. Took Venezuela, once world's second largest oil producer per capita, world's fourth wealthiest nation, reduced it to poverty, starvation, and immigration and all of that stuff. They always point to Sweden as the great way to do things. That Sweden is really socialism in its essence, but they stopped doing it a long time ago, according to this piece from the Gateway Pundit, by the way. The final fallback counter-argument when a conservative says socialism doesn't work, and it never has, is Sweden. The Scandinavian country once had the highest standards of living and one of the strongest social welfare systems of any free nation. It's not a free nation. Once the promise was cradle to grave, universal health care, free education, generous unemployment benefits, all funded by taxpayers. In 1976, children's book author Astrid Lindgren discovered her marginal tax rate had hit 102 degrees, 2%, I should say. She wrote an op-ed on how preposterous it was to pay more than you earn in taxes. Public outrage followed and helped 44 years of uninterrupted social Democrat rule, setting the stage for a reckoning that took another 15 years to arrive. Since then, 1991, Carl Bildt became Sweden's first conservative prime minister. His government cut spending, privatized state monopolies, began dismantling the system piece by piece. Top income rates were 90% in the 80s. Now the highest one is just about 50%. Still too much. Wealth and inheritance taxes, once sources of state revenues, were eliminated outright in the mid-2000s. And it goes on and on and on. They have cut a number of benefits. It's no longer cradle to grave. In 1999, the state deregulated dental pricing entirely, letting private dentists set their own fees, whereas the government used to cover 75% of them, and care had declined dramatically. So the country of Sweden is not a shining example of socialism, because socialism failed there as well. It failed there absolutely as well. And if you don't believe that David Jolly is a card-carrying DSA rep, Byron Donald's put this together. Listen to everything this man believes.
And I approve this message because I want you to hear straight from me where I stand. I've moved pretty far left. I've moved pretty far left.
Who cares about some of the finer points of the Second Amendment?
We just have to crush the culture of gun ownership.
I think we need dramatic, ambitious gun control laws in the United States.
Yeah. Very anti-Second Amendment.
Will you limit the use of fossil fuels?
Yes.
Yeah, he believes in all that new Green Deal bullcrap.
Yes.
I think we need to greatly constrict our school choice program.
Yeah, look what the Department of Education did to the school system in America and what COVID did to our kids.
Let's return to a state university system that believes in diversity and equity and inclusion.
Yeah, we tried that. It was a bunch of crap.
The reality is Jesus is a loving God who would support the trans community.
We embraced it. We saw the right pathways, the medical pathways, the gender-affirming care.
Yeah, believes in even kids getting the old snippety snip.
It can be supportive of them to allow them to play in youth sports.
Yeah, allow boys to compete in girls' sports and beat them.
Why aren't we talking about expanding access to the younger generation and to disparate populations to be able to vote electronically?
Yeah, they want the fraud to extend in vote fraud from mail-in ballots to voting by phone. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, I'm thinking that Byron Donalds is going to be the dude, and I'm thinking that this Nixon woman in Florida is never going to be a United States Senator. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Kind of rejoin.
If I don't like it, if they don't behave, we'll go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head.
Yeah, baby. Boom. 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 I was going to play I'm going to play a little bit of comedy. You know, the economic D-Day on Iran started this week, and hopefully very soon they will collapse. And Jim Gossett did this for us. Here it is.
Economic D-Day, Iran will see.
Big time. Freedom.
We will put great obstacles in their way.
Scott Bessent is one of them, yeah.
We're gonna cripple their economy.
We're doing it.
It's gonna be a dark, Iranian day.
Reals, $2 million for $1.
If you trade with Iran, we're warning you.
Don't mess with us.
We'll cut out your access to us as well. Don't want to see the pain that we'll inflict. Yes, it will be pure living hell.
Yeah, well. There you go. That is Jim Gossett. And, you know, I predicted that the Iranian people would be free. And we've all waited a very long time. Many of you weren't even born. I was a kid 47 years ago when the Ayatollah took over, and Jimmy Carter projected weakness and allowed 47 years of absolute hell. Absolute hell. By the way, 5th anniversary of Joe Biden's disastrous pullout from Afghanistan, resulting in the death of many civilians and 13 Americans. We're going to be talking to Tony Shaffer about that at the bottom of the hour. And I'm going to save some of my, I've got a couple things I want to save for the bottom of that hour. With him, you know, Dolly Parton passed away, and she was a legend. Yesterday we were in the conversation about, like, she was the female Elvis. When you think about it, probably bigger than Elvis. Elvis was certainly a commercial success while he was alive, but did not become so successful financially until after his passing. Dolly Parton was a force of nature, not only as a performer, as an actor, as a singer, as a songwriter. She opened Dollywood. She had this book program. She gave away hundreds of millions of books to children, and she was inspired by her father because her father never learned to read or write. There was a time, you know. There was a time. And I saw this, actually, Greta Van Susteren posted this interview with Dolly Parton with Barbara Walters in 1977. And a lot of times when you think about country folk, you think they're somehow idiots. And you make fun of hillbillies. I don't make fun of hillbillies. I say homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews. Because some of the hardest people, working people in the world are hillbillies. You know, my family aren't hillbillies, but we are country folk. And a good share of my family did not get a college degree and are doing quite well, thank you very much. Some of us do have college degrees. That's fine. You know, I guess my college degree helped me. I worked on the radio. I learned about things, and it wasn't, you know, completely woke back then in the 80s. But here is Barbra Streisand just looking like an East Coast elite, interviewing Dolly Parton at the time, 1977, same year Elvis died, by the way. And just coming out as just an elite snot. And Dolly Parton just handled her beautifully.
Where I come from, would I have called you a hillbilly?
If you had of, it would have been something very natural, but I would have probably kicked your shins or something. No, actually.
But when I think of hillbillies, am I thinking of your kind of people?
I think you probably are. The people that grew up where I was were the ones that you would consider the little Abner people, Daisy May and that sort of thing. They took that kind of thing from people like us, but we were very proud people with a lot of class. It was country class, but it was a great deal of class, and most of my people were not that educated, but they are very, very intelligent, good common sense, horse sense.
They are not book smart. They are smart, street smart. Holler smart. They'll call it holler smart. How's that sound? Holler smart. My gosh. And here's this is even better. So this is obviously a different time, but back in the 70s, hosts would openly talk about Dolly Parton's chest. Because, duh. And she made a joke out of it. She did. She made a joke out of it. Here's Barbara Walters being rude about it.
Is it all you?
Well, I can't show you.
She literally is going after Dolly Parton for calling her fake. I want you to calling her a fake.
You're right on television.
I'll take your word for it.
I get asked that question. I always answer that because people are in awe of the whole thing. A lot of people say I have. A lot of people say I haven't. I always say that if I hadn't have had it on my own, I'm just the kind of person that would have had me some maid.
You don't have to look like this. You're very beautiful. You don't have to wear the blonde wigs. You don't have to wear the extreme
that was country
clothes, right?
No, it's certainly a choice. I don't like to be like everybody else. I've often made this statement that I would never stoop so low as to be fashionable. That's the easiest thing in the world to do.
Wow, that is did you hear that? I would never stoop so low as to be fashionable. That's the easiest thing in the world to do.
So I just decided that I would do something
that
would at least get the attention. Once they got past the shock.
Why do you think Elvis wore the jumpsuits?
Of the ridiculous way I looked and all
Why do you suppose I'm wearing a vest today? No.
Then they would see there was parts of me to be appreciated. I'm very real where it counts, and that's inside. And
well, there you go. I'm real. I'm very real in where it counts, and that's inside. And here is Barbara Walters basically saying, you're a joke to her. And listen to this classy and wonderful person.
But I just chose to do this, and show business is a money-making joke, and I've just always liked telling jokes.
Telling jokes.
But do you ever feel that you're a joke? That people make fun of?
Can you believe that? Could you ever feel that you're a joke?
Jokes,
But do you ever feel that you're a joke? That people make fun of you?
Oh, I know they make fun of me. But actually, all these years, the people, has thought the joke was on me, but it's actually been on the public.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm doing, and I can change it at any time.
Yeah.
Sure, I make more jokes about myself than anybody. Because I enjoy it. I know, like I say, I am sure of myself as a person. I'm sure of my talent. And to me, and I'm sure of my love and for life and that sort of thing. I'm very content. I like the kind of person that I am. So I can afford to piddle around and diddle around with makeups and clothes and stuff because I am secure with myself.
I'm going to tell you what, that means a lot. It's not arrogance to believe in yourself because you have to believe in yourself because otherwise people will make you not believe in you. They will devalue your currency. Don't ever let them do that. I speak from experience. I ain't doing that anymore. Let's take a break and come back. Tony Shaffer next. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. You may not remember every time you toss, turn, or wake up hot, but your body does. That's why you wake up tired before the day even starts. That's why I got a Ghost Bed, the best bed in the history of mankind. Ghost Bed is engineered to help reduce the reasons your sleep gets interrupted. Ghost Bed is designed to relieve pressure, help regulate temperature, support your body. Cooling technology built into every mattress and made in the USA. With Ghost Bed's 101 night trial, you can try it at home because the real test of a mattress is how you feel in the morning. If you're waking up sore or tired before the day even starts, check out Ghost Bed. For a limited time during Ghost Bed's Labor Day sale, they're offering my audience an extra 10% off their lowest prices of the season. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. Hey guys, it's Carson. When it comes to supplements, two things matter most. It works and you can trust it. We hear from people every day whose lives have changed, and we'd like you to hear their stories. At 80 years old, Richard and Paula were tired of aches and discomfort keeping them awake at night. They decided to try Relief Factor, and now they're sleeping through the night again. Paula said she's so impressed, she wanted everybody to know about it. Used to be when I would sleep on my right side, my hip would hurt. I thought it was the mattress. I started taking Relief Factor. The pain went away. They make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor helps you rest without pain. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. We hope you'll soon be sharing your story with us too. Relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF.
I've concluded that it's time to end America's longest war.
The people woke up in the morning and thought, hey, we need to get out of this country.
It was like water pouring over a rock.
And it was hand-to-hand fighting. I actually thought that we weren't going to make it.
Get him up! Get up!
The mix between the feces, the blood, the decaying bodies. People would beg you to kill them.
Some civilians just throwing babies over.
It became clear that an attack was imminent.
Wow.
ID, bro.
Unbelievable. 5 years ago, Joe Biden decided, or somebody, an auto-hit decision was made to withdraw from Afghanistan. Joe Biden thought he would be a hero for ending a war, but there's nothing worse than ending a war in this fashion. Joining us to talk about this and so much more is on camera today for the very first time, the one and only Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer with Project Sentinel. Hello, Colonel. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Great to be here. I'm good to see you, so to speak.
Yes, it is really good to see you. I'm wearing a vest today. Everybody's been commenting on my vest, and you know I'm newly. You're newly married. I'm newly single. I like to say layers are for players.
That's good. So I would go for the polyester leisure suit in lime green if I were you. Just saying.
I still have that. I still. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this. A lot of people are remembering this, and you know, isn't it remarkable that you had these a couple of military disasters on the hands of Democrats? You had Benghazi, the Democrat Party. Hillary Clinton was able to wash her hands of it, and this awful withdrawal, which was much worse by Joe Biden for purely political purposes, and no one has suffered any ill because of it.
Yeah. So a couple things I want to help frame this. Now, Lloyd Austin was the Secretary of Defense at the time, and I was in combat with General Austin, and he, you know, my experience with him is directly recorded in Operation Dark Heart, my memoir from 2003, 2004. Lloyd Austin was the last man you want running a Pentagon when you have actual decisions of magnitude to make. So I put at the feet of him, Jerome McKenzie, the commander of Central Command, and of course the White House for making a series of catastrophic decisions which resulted in unneeded loss of life and plus a complete loss of our ability to influence anything in Afghanistan. Now think about this. We went in there in 2001, late in the year, right after 9/11, to avenge the 9/11 attacks. And we went there, take the Taliban out very quickly. And next thing you know, 20 years later, they're put back in charge and given all the resources they ever wanted. That was a Democrat decision.
What were the estimates of how much military hardware we gave to the Taliban? I heard $85 billion plus.
I think of it more in terms of how much was there. We left the third largest ground military force on the planet in place for the Taliban to take over.
This is echoes of Saigon to some degree. You know, the same damned thing. You get our troops involved in an extended conflict. The war pigs, as Black Sabbath put it, made lots and lots of money for decades, not caring about the numbers lost. 50,000+ in Vietnam, over 3,500 with regard to the 20 years where we were involved in Iraq and also Afghanistan. Yeah. And what's even worse is that now they've turned it over to the Taliban. They are now well armed. They're back to square one, and the women of Afghanistan, the girls of Afghanistan, are back to there as well. And it was all preventable. How could have we prevented all this? And had Joe Biden not done this idiotic move, where would we be now?
So there's two. I was part of the advisory team advising Mike Pompeo when he was Secretary of State. I advised him when he was CIA director. I was part of the Trump 2020 team, National Security Advisor. So the plan for the withdrawal from Afghanistan was not the plan executed by Joe Biden. There was going to be a consolidated Taliban and Afghan government, bring a provisional government to reintegrate the Taliban into a political process. And the idea was we had excluded the Taliban from any political voice, and therefore they attacked the process. They did. And so, okay, you got to accept the fact the Taliban get a vote because they're taking things over. You can't ignore it. So let's then work to basically do a government which combines both together. And oh, by the way, bring in the Pakistanis. Let the Pakistanis have a vote because they are paranoid because India. And let the Pakistanis have a great say in what happens. And that was the plan. That was the plan to basically integrate, allow those people who live there to work out their differences. And we step back. Nope. We decided at the last minute, we're just going to let the Taliban do whatever they want. They basically were able to go in and through hook and crook, undermine the entire 20 years of building democracy, which we did work on. I didn't agree with how we did it, but it is what it is. And then just no, we're just taking over. And the Pakistanis said, yeah, we're not going to help. We're going to let the Taliban do what they want. That's what happened. So, and by the way, we never planned on giving up Bagram, Rob. We had always planned on maintaining a base of operations that would allow us intelligence collection and special operations. And we literally walked away in the middle of the night, literally.
And Bagram was no small feat. That was a massive base.
It was huge. It was huge when I was there. It was 5 times bigger by the time we left it. 5 years ago. So,
what was your reaction? I mean, when you were watching that day in real time and you were seeing the people falling from the transports and then ultimately the explosion that killed 13 Americans, that had to be gut wrenching for you because you're a soldier of the Middle Eastern conflicts.
Yeah. Well, 2 things. First off, only the Democrats can. Only the Democrats, because they are so unfeeling regarding the value of life. And this was all, like you said, supposed to be a feather in Joe Biden's cap to show that, oh, yeah, he ended a war. He ended the war by human slaughter. And the second thing, Robin, since I know the geography, Kabul was the last place you wanted to do a removal of military and Afghan folks. The whole idea, Bagram is about an hour's drive outside of Kabul. What you wanted to do is have an area that you could contain the events and control them. Kabul was known, and at the time I was running operations there, it was known to not be controlled by us completely. It was the Wild West. And so the last place you want to have ISIS and Taliban having direct control of what's going on outside your wire is Kabul. And so that's why you never wanted to give up Bagram. It was always a place that you could control access to and string things out. Am I saying we shouldn't have evacuated? No, if that's the decision, do it. But don't do it in a circumstance where you give the enemy the full benefit and advantage of terrain and environment, of urban environment.
I'd like to continue the conversation on the other side of the break. What you think of the economic D-Day that we are doing to Iran? I'm curious to see if you're as optimistic as I and Blaine Holt are. By the way, let's cover it on the other side of the break if you don't mind. More with the one and only Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer, Project Sentinel on the Rob Carson Show. Stick around.
I'm going to play here.
Have you always been rather zoftic? What would they call that where you grew up in Tennessee?
I can't say.
Healthy?
Healthy, I guess.
Yeah.
Bosomy. What did you ask me just before that?
Have you always...
Well, yeah,
When you were young,
I've always been pretty well blessed. People are always asking if they're real. And
I would never. I would never, you see.
No, you don't have to ask.
I would not.
I'll tell you what, these are mine.
I have certain guidelines on this.
I usually say,
But I would give about a year's pay to peek under there.
Yeah, that was Johnny Carson and Dolly Parton, now both passed. And yes, there's a reason why I use the name Carson on the radio, in case you wanted to know. Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer. My real name actually is Rob Hitler Bin Laden, and I just didn't think it was a good name, so I thought I'd go with Carson.
My actual name was, my name is Ben Dover. No, that's just a joke.
And of course it is. You know,
I
I wanted to use a little comic relief here because we have lost a legend in Dolly Parton, and
she's wonderful.
Well, it really kind of hit hard yesterday because we knew her movies, we knew her music, we knew her personality, we knew her an entrepreneur. She's an amazing human being, and I think it took us all by surprise. Maybe not such a big surprise. A lot of times when you get older, sometimes when one spouse dies, then the other will soon follow thereafter, and I don't know if that's part of it, but I'm saddened by it regardless, and I wanted to bring it up there with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk a little bit about what's happening on in Iran. I got to tell you, old Scott Bessent is he's almost like a general in the war against Iran, and it looks like his contribution could be as powerful as our military strikes.
Well, it is. So there's something called DIME, D-I-M-E, I've been talking about on the network, and that's the principles of national power. D for diplomacy, I for informational, M for military, and E for economic. And so we're taught at the academies, this is something I've actually talked about at the Army War College, all military academies teach it, is about how we need to, as a nation, use all the tools available regarding using national will to establish a path and favorable outcome to a conflict. And so I would argue President Trump, more than any other modern president, has figured it out.
Yes.
And so Scott Bessent is effectively a general in the war, and he's being a great general. So by the way, go ahead.
I was going to say I've never seen in any. I mean, unless it was more clandestine. You look at some of the military conflicts of our lives, whether it be Vietnam, whether it be Desert Storm, Desert Shield. This is complete Korea.
Yeah.
This is new territory. I think they're going to be writing about this in military history books for decades.
Yeah, they will. And so to that point, Rob, the economic issue in this case is not going after a few low-level cover companies or proprietaries who they're engaged. No, this is going into the body of economic functionality and getting into the bloodstream, taking out the very blood, going to the banks. And stopping it. So that's what's different. And oh, by the way, we've not stopped militarily. One of the things we've done to further demoralize the Iranians is we have these clandestine convoys at night getting ships out. Further showing it's like, you can say whatever you want about control. We control it, and we're actually doing things to get ships out. So it's a win for us.
There are some similarities. I was mentioning, the fall of the Berlin Wall. And a lot of that was there were a number of things, but certainly the failure of the economic system, the control of manufacturing, etc., and then the uprising of the people. We didn't have to fire a bullet, but the Soviets were also not, fighting for a caliphate, willing to die for it.
No.
So there were similarities, though.
No. We basically used DIME, and especially the E in DIME, effectively against the Soviets. We collapsed their system by economic pressure. The Pope was part of it. Pope John Paul. There was a full-blown effort.
Hey, Reagan did it. Reagan did it, but with the military buildup, they couldn't keep up with us. They spent all of their GDP on military trying to keep up with us, and they bankrupt their country.
And the thing that broke the economic back was we would not give up SDI. One of the most effective national security programs, which really didn't exist at the time, it does now, was the idea that we're going to have space-based missiles and lasers. We're not worried about it, and we're going to put it up there, and the cost was enormous, and the Soviets had no money left to counter it. I mean, so they tried their best to keep up with us, and we spent them into oblivion. Just saying.
Yeah. Let me, in wrapping up here, Tony Shaffer, what do you see happening here in Iran? How quickly do you suppose they're going to fold? I was talking with Blaine Holt about it. He's very optimistic about this. There's already maybe some involvement with the Kurds coming in and whatnot. What do you see happening in the next month or two?
You can have all sorts of vigorous ideology. You can have all the idea that America is the great Satan, but Rob, if you're not getting money to buy food, you're not going to worry about a great Satan halfway across the planet. I would say they talk about all politics being local. I'd say all economics are local too. And if you deprive their economy of the blood of commerce, they ain't going to last long. Just
I love it. I love it. That's what I believe, and I am looking forward to dancing in the street with my Persian brothers and sisters. We did that when the World Cup was here. There were a bunch of Iranian expats down there. We were dancing on King Street. We're gonna do it again. Tony Shaver, thanks for joining me today. It was great to have you on camera for the very first time.
Thanks, Rob.
Have a glorious day, brother. We'll talk soon. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I'm going to leave my mic up this time. How are you? Hello, Valentina. Hello. Oh, Val, leftover linguine with basil pesto. I made pesto this weekend, Wild Bill. I made a good gallon of it myself, actually, and I used cashews. You can see it on my Instagram. I did a live hour and a half talking about it, and you guys are talking about reheat lightly a burger with American cheese on buttered Ezekiel wheat bread. Boy, somebody's hungry today. What the hell's the deal here? I haven't done bread in 3 weeks. Last time I had pasta was 3 weeks ago Friday. I've been doing the factor meals. Factor meals are good. They're not like the greatest thing in the world. But they're okay. I mean, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. But they're easy for me to do, and that's what I'm having. But man, I'll tell you what, you kind of your gut goes down in a big hurry. It's pretty crazy. Emily, I just joined the stream. There was no sound. I had my microphone down. Emily, I'm so sorry. I screwed up. Anyway, thank you for joining. Hobbalone, William Radcliffe. How are you, Susan Gibbs? What's going on with you? Oh, I gotta play this right here. Hold on, guys. I gotta talk. Coming up next hour, I want to get into this Jason Watson, this idiot Air Force general who's got the mind of Forrest Gump. He's facing unprecedented charges for calling for Donald Trump's impeachment while in uniform. Really, really, really stupid, and I'm glad. And then also, Nick Shirley is out and about, and you won't believe what he has discovered in California for the homeless people, what they're providing for the homeless people. It is do not leave your radio. This is going to be or your stream or whatever. Trump administration suggests the Kennedy Center could be demolished if the court blocks its planned renovations. I'll tell you, I was in the Kennedy Center earlier this year. I hosted an event over there, and it needs some work. It needs a lot of work. It's down below is a hell of a mess, to be quite honest. Justice Department suggested in a court filing Tuesday that the Kennedy Center could face demolition in the event a federal judge issues an order permanently blocking President Donald Trump's push to renovate the facility. See, he's a builder, you morons. In an extraordinary filing that at times read like Trump's social post, they said the decrepit Kennedy Center faces an imminent death spiral without Trump's intervention. And I believe this because, you see, he's a builder. He is. Without these efforts, the center will deteriorate further into an unsafe, decrepit structure that will be required to be taken down with a determination to follow on what to build on the site, such as a large outdoor amphitheater overlooking the Potomac River. Now, they ought to keep the Kennedy Center. And what they are planning, the department describes the initiatives approved at the Kennedy Center's board that intend to honor Trump's personally for his effort, included adding the inscription, renovated and restored by President Donald J. Trump on the front of the building, renaming the site that contains the center the President Donald J. Trump Plaza. And they should. And you know what? Your TDS has caused you to do incredibly, incredibly stupid things. And like everything that the Democrat Party touches, it turns to crap. And the Kennedy Center has turned to crap. I found this. I wanted to play this again. This is from our friend Sean Farish.
Making America great like it should be. Making your gasoline cheap as it could be. Speaking at rallies and MMA rings. These are a few of my favorite things.
This is Sean Farish. We did this like 5 years ago.
Pageants where entries are made up of females. Private airliners and Hillary's emails.
Maybe 6 years.
Fake news, destruction, and precocious bling. These are a few of my favorite things.
And the Kennedy Center, too.
Spray tans, casinos, and my cool comb over. Democrats imploding because they are over.
They're over.
No vaccine mandates and anti-masking. These are a few of my favorite things. Funding police because we like law and order.
Yeah, we do.
Building a wall on our Mexican border.
Yeah.
With boat flotillas, you know I'm the king. These are a few of my favorite things.
I thought I'd bring that back because he wants to dress up the Kennedy Center. That's a piece I did with Sean Farish, who now is partnered with Dan Bongino, and he's had an enormous amount of success. Not just like the Jim Gossett, the enormous genius of Jim Gossett. I just thought it was kind of funny. I found that this morning. I thought I'd reshare it from the early days of Sean Farish before he became a big deal. All right, so we got another hour of the show. Much, much more, including that major in the Air Force who's in major trouble for wanting to have Donald Trump removed from office. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus. You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
Hold it now. You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show on a Wednesday, the 26th of August. We have much to get to as the show progresses. CBS editor-in-chief Barry Weiss has been holding conversations with ousted CNN anchor Chris Cuomo in recent months. I don't know how they can do this because normally when you're in a contract, you're not supposed to talk to other people because of tortious interference. I'll just put it that way. Cuomo remains locked in a multi-year contract with News Nation, not to mention being embroiled in a wrongful termination lawsuit against CNN over his 2021 firing. Cuomo was cut from CNN in December 2020 after his brother, then Governor Andrew Cuomo, in the sexual harassment case that led to the latter's resignation. His old 9 p.m. news slot is now occupied by Caitlin Collins. Weiss sees Cuomo as talented and skilled broadcaster. Ratings, meanwhile, remain historically low at CBS Mornings, suffering its lowest rated week ever for the week of July 13th, I guess. So anyway, in the weeks, she's brought in Tony Ducapil to mornings to perennial last place evening news. In the weeks before, she brought on former ABC chief national correspondent Matt Gutman to the CBS News chief reporter. I don't know if there's any saving CBS. I don't know. I'm never going to go back to the latter networks. I mean, they've been so left of center for so very long and destroyed their trust of the American people by, carrying the water of the Democrat Party for so long. I don't think there's any saving them at this point. No forgiving them at any point, to be quite honest. Ducapel recently scored his lowest ratings month on evening news since taking the job. Weiss moved him after a disastrous dual anchor experiment by his predecessors that sent more than 1.2 million viewers away. At the time, the show slipped below 4 million total viewers, a meaningful marker that Ducapel now regularly fails to hit. Remember, they did Connie Chung and Dan Rather like 25 years ago. So that was a disastrous. The whole evening duo anchors on the nightly news doesn't seem to work. Cuomo is currently suing CNN for $125 million. So we are in the middle of a revolutionary time in broadcasting, and I've been doing this a number of years, since 1989. I know it's weird that I've been doing this, but I've only been doing this for 6. So as far as conservative talk radio, I'm still a fresh voice. But amazing things are happening. We have radio stations around the country who we love very dearly, KSCO in Santa Cruz and KBQ in Albuquerque, and all of our Benny Media stations in New Hampshire, and I can go on and on. But I'll tell you, that is a wonderful GMD in Rehoboth. I'm going to be up there a couple times next month. And of course, WCBM, our anchor station in Baltimore, that puts it all together for us. They're very, very important. And then we also do the live stream. We started the live stream 2 years ago, this coming December. And the day that we did the live stream, I was in my spare bedroom in Kansas City, still married to my wife, and we became NEWSMAX #1 streaming product on day 1. Since then, it has grown gigantically. Every day, my producer, Ken Redneck MacGyver, takes all 3 hours of the podcast, the radio show, makes it into 3 hours of podcast, okay? So we are flooding the zone with entertaining content, flooding the zone every day with 3 hours of audio, 3 hours of video, plus a sundry social media posts on all of the platforms. And consequently, our reach is bigger than something I could have ever imagined 10 years ago. It is remarkable. We are at the confluence of tremendous things happening between the analog and the digital media. The analog media, the radio station, is incredibly important. A lot of times people, radio's dead. Really, tell that to 85% of the population. You're high, all right? Radio is alive and well. There is no better way to reach a local audience than local radio. That's it. The newspaper, generally liberal, covers politics from the left, does obituaries, sports scores. There you go. Television covers car crashes and political scandals and the weather and sports. Always important, sure. Radio connects. The morning show host is the mayor of the city. A really connected radio program is and the only thing that's changing about radio is that we're beginning to rely less and less on the over-the-air signal, which is AM and FM frequency, audio, amplitude modulation, frequency modulation. Those are the two differences. They both go up a tower. You pay thousands of dollars a month to run that radiation that sends it out in all directions, and it's being replaced by a stream. Okay, so you go to WCBM.com, you go to whatever.com, and you stream your favorite radio show. And you know it's pretty amazing because you can live in Los Angeles and stream your favorite show in wherever. You can live in where. So that's the amazing thing about it. And you're never going to lose that sense of localness. It's tremendous. And then, of course, the incredible power of the live stream. Now, I had no idea how well this is going to work. You watch me on this live stream, you see this TV screen behind me, you see all the lights, the camera, the whole deal. I built every bit of this. So I didn't know how. I knew I was going to make a noise that no one could ignore when I came to Washington, D.C. Do you know why I know that? Because it was my goal. For many years, I had been held back by the champions of broadcasting, telling me I could be only a music jock, telling me I could only be this, ignoring me as a talk show host for many years, ignoring the demo tapes, ignoring the phone calls, ignoring the emails, and the whole deal. And it took Chris Ruddy of NEWSMAX to go, holy crap, he's really good. He's really good. And most recently, I was invited into the NEWSMAX studio, where again, I put together a broadcast studio. This is the 5th broadcast studio that I have built single-handedly. Everything. Audio, video, cameras, microphones, everything. I'm quite proud of it. But we are at a confluence here. Rush Limbaugh in 1987 got a nationally syndicated radio program, WABC, with the anchor station in New York City, 2 Penn Plaza, 17th floor. You know why I know that? Because he used to send the FedEx package with the reel-to-reel voice parts and the typed-out script for the bits I did for his show. Glenn Beck came along at age 37 in 2001, right after 9/11. Rob Carson has come along, well, I guess for real, really, since I moved to Washington, D.C. a little bit over a year ago. I know that no one will ever fill Rush Limbaugh's shoes, but I will walk in his footsteps, and that's what I'm here to do. So you're a part of it. And do you know that the average time spent watching this live stream is 1 hour and 39 minutes? We have reached as high as number 10 in the podcast for news and commentary in the country, behind people like Ben Shapiro and Victor Davis Hanson, who've been doing this a lot longer than yours truly. In the news category, we are beating Jen Psaki and NBC Nightly News. In a universe of over 3.8 million podcasts in the United States of America, my show has made number 250. And we have a long way to go. And I couldn't do it without you. But I wanted to share that with you because this is an enormous opportunity. Going back to Barry Weiss and CBS, they're never going to get back to their glory days. They never are. NEWSMAX Media, and what I'm doing right now, what Chris Ruddy is doing right now, is on the cutting edge of this. It's about connecting with you on multiple platforms with programming that is uniquely entertaining, that is honest, and with people who don't change their stripes. They are authentic people. That's what makes it great. So download the NewsMax app if you would. Become a NewsMax Plus member. How does that sound? Sound kind of cool. I'm going to, I want to play one other thing here. And this is another reason why people are leaving the networks. I don't know if you heard this, but there's this guy named Jelly Roll. I kind of like Jelly Roll. He's got this Hard-Fought Hallelujah, one of my favorite songs. I love this guy. And he decided to go on with Rosie O'Donnell on the Jimmy Kimmel Show and make fun of Donald Trump and do it in a really rude way. And, of course, she is not a funny person anymore. And this is why the late-night TV shows are dead or dying.
Oh, Donnie boy, it's Rosie calling. From Hollywood, the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Drop that Big Mac that we all know you're holding.
Not funny.
Because, my dear, I worry for you so.
It's not funny.
Why not resign and make this country great again?
Okay, not funny. Now, here's Jelly Roll, who I liked otherwise. Again, Hard-Fought Hallelujah is an amazing song. It's gotten me through some hard times, and I thought he could be a little bit above this.
Well, Mr. President, from one fat pig to another, take it from me that physical fitness is very important. And trust me, you'll be happy to see your again.
He did himself a lot of damage by saying that. He really did, because there are a lot of people who are believing his story, the change in his life, overcoming what he did, all of the sins of his past, his addictions, and all of these things, and then he did that. Yeah, just not a good move, bro. I'm going to take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
countdown. 3, 2, 1.
My head, heart, and hands are feeling heavy, and that's when I lift them just a little higher. I bring my heartfelt, been through hell, hallelujah.
I'm disappointed in Jelly Roll.
Now bring my storm top for self story to tell, hallelujah. Oh, oh, oh. 'Cause God, you've been patient. My God, you've been gracious. I'm faithful, whatever I'm feeling or facing. I bring my heartfelt, it is well, hallelujah.
That movie, or that song, got me through a lot of darkness this summer. And I'm disappointed that this
Donny boy, it's Rose.
that this performer, Jelly Roll, would say such a thing about the president.
Well, Mr. President, from one fat pig to another, take it from me that physical fitness is very important. And trust me, you'll be happy to see your again.
That's a shame. I mean, that song really. There have been Sunday mornings where I've been in Buck the Bronco, and that song came on, and it just saved me. And it's disappointing. I hope he realizes what he's done to some members of the audience. All right. Let's talk about this. I've been talking about all darn morning this guy, this Jason Watson idiot. You recall this guy, he decided he'd show up on the Capitol steps. He is a major in the U.S. Air Force, and he was arrested. 3 violations. He said that Donald Trump should be impeached and removed from office. 3 violations of Article 88, contempt toward officials. Article 92, failure to obey regulations. And Article 133, conduct unbecoming an officer. And he decided to do an interview with Aaron Burnett, and they acted
I think the most important thing
they acted like a couple of idiots. Here we go.
For all of us to keep in mind is what is happening with President Trump is not normal. He has failed us, and not only
no, he hasn't actually.
Not only is he a failure as president.
No, he's not.
He is flagrantly violating the Constitution.
That is absolutely not true.
Breaking the law.
No.
Engaged in rampant corruption.
No, actually, Joe Biden is the most corrupt president in history.
And is killing Americans.
No, he's not.
And that is unacceptable to me.
Now, I want you to hear Aaron Burnett and this idiot. They I don't even know. They sound like baby birds. No, they sound like toddlers. You ever seen toddlers? They don't have the ability to really create words, so they just go into each other's faces. I want you to listen to her. She's looking for something from this moron. And this man is not a smart man. He is not a smart man. Just listen to him talk. I'll explain. But listen to Aaron Burnett. She's trying to milk this for all it's worth. And they just sound like toddlers.
So, when you talk about that desire to inspire, you're not, of course, a somebody. You are a somebody, right? You're not an anybody. You are a somebody, right? You're a sitting major and in the Air Force.
Nothing.
What the hell did she just say? Let's hear that again. Listen to that ungodly bad intro.
So, when you talk about that desire to inspire, you're not, of course, a somebody. You are a somebody, right? You're not an anybody. You are a somebody, right? You're a sitting major and in the Air Force.
Here's his idiotic response.
Nothing that is worth doing is something that you can do for free. Everything that
nothing that is worth doing is something you can do for free. Okay.
Is worthwhile. It's going to cost something.
Again, he just said the same thing twice.
It's going to be hard. It's going to require sacrifice. And we are in an incredibly challenging time. And in order for us to get out of this situation, we all have to have courage. So for me to take action, if I don't sacrifice something, if I don't give something up, then it's just words. And words are easy to ignore.
The thing is, you've just ruined your career. You thought that going up and standing on the Capitol steps with a microphone and saying that Donald Trump should be impeached was somehow like this powerful moment, and you'd go down in the annals of history as some sort of great patriot. But you haven't. You're in a whole lot of trouble. You're probably going to be dishonorably discharged. In fact, I know you're going to be. And there's a really good chance that you'll end up in prison. But here he is. I mean, again, makes Forrest Gump look like a Nobel Peace Prize winner.
So if I don't put myself out there in a big way, then it's just noise. And
well, you didn't in a big way. You just stood there behind a podium and said a bunch of stuff, and now you're charged with crimes because you were in uniform. You moron.
Plenty of noise that we're all listening to every day. There's plenty of people telling us the obvious truth, but there's no cost being paid.
Again, not saying anything that makes sense.
And there's a lot of ways to view that as cynically or skeptically or whatever.
He should be Kamala Harris's husband.
The case may be, and just dismiss it and say, okay, you're not making any difference. But we just have to be willing to accept that we can change what is happening in our country if we're just willing to pay a price for it. So all that I could do was ask myself, what's the highest price that I'm willing to pay? And this is what I ultimately came up with.
Yeah, and it's the dumbest frickin' thing you could ever possibly do.
What is it about?
With the least impact, by the way. Here is the close of the interview, Aaron Burnett and this idiot.
What is it about the war and this commander-in-chief, President Trump's handling of it, that made you do this at this moment?
And by the way, which has been masterful, unlike the 20 years that we were in Afghanistan.
So I know that there are some folks probably in your audience that have seen my interview with Jessica Denson. I talk about this a little bit. And it's important to just underscore that what is happening with the Iran war is very predictable strategically.
No, not at all, actually.
And a lot of much smarter people than me knew.
And that would be everybody who ever lived.
That it would have gone pretty poorly. Like the closing of the Strait.
It's gone really well, and the Strait is open right now, and the Iranian military is decimated. They have no nuclear weapons right now, and right now we're crushing them economically.
Hormuz, that's known. And a lot of the consequences that we're seeing, there was probably advice that was being given to the President of the United States saying, this is what's going to happen if you do this. And he chose to do it anyways.
Yeah, and it's going to be quite successful, actually, because the regime is on the verge of economic collapse, and the Iranian people could be free for the first time in 47 years, and you could go to prison for the first time in your life as well. Well played, Forrest. Let's take a break and come back. Joining us next, Catalina Luff, Gen Z influencer and conservative at large. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, two things matter the most. It works, and you can trust it. We hear from people every day whose lives have been changed. We'd like to hear your stories. Pastor Bill strained his back around Christmas 2025, was in tremendous pain. After starting Relief Factor, within a few days, his pain was gone. He had full flexibility. He calls it a miracle and recommends it to anyone dealing with pain. I lift heavy weights when I work out. My elbow was really starting to bother me, and I started Relief Factor, and it's fine now. So if you're ready to believe in miracles, try Relief Factor. Get a 3-week quick start for just $17.76. See why so many people tell us Relief Factor gave them their lives back. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. You may not remember every time you toss, turn, or wake up hot, but your body does. That's why you wake up tired before the day even starts. That's why I got a Ghost Bed, the best bed in the history of mankind. Ghost Bed is engineered to help reduce the reasons your sleep gets interrupted. Ghost Bed is designed to relieve pressure, help regulate temperature, support your body. Cooling technology built into every mattress and made in the USA. With Ghost Bed's 101 night trial, you can try it at home because the real test of a mattress is how you feel in the morning. If you're waking up sore or tired before the day even starts, check out Ghost Bed. For a limited time during Ghost Bed's Labor Day sale, they're offering my audience an extra 10% off their lowest prices of the season. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson.
Comp.
Got to rejoin.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Hey, it's in the title, WNBA. We're not going to have transgender people in the WNBA, and we're not going to discuss it again. That's what Adam and Kathy should have done 2 or 3 weeks ago before they turn it over to the internet and every fool, idiot, and jackass to have an opinion on. Adam should come out, and Kathy. I like both of them a lot. Women can own. There's no transgender people going to play in the WNBA. If you don't like it, kick rocks. We're not going to discuss it anymore. And Ennis is trying to get attention because listen, if he did all the operation things, we're not doing that either.
Wow, it took the Charles Barkley to do the mic drop with regard to men competing in the WNBA. I thought I'd open the conversation with that with the wonderful Catalina Loff, former congressional candidate, author of Time to Choose, and now special guest on the Rob Carson Show. On camera, by the way. Good to see you today, by the way.
Hey, good to see you. Thanks for having me on, Rob.
Can you believe the self-immolation of the WNBA? It's a woke league. They've got a danged one of their arenas is named after climate change. Do you know that? And then, of course, all of this woke nonsense that I thought we were well past it. but they continue to fly this pattern, wearing shirts that say, we support genderized children. What are your thoughts on all of this? Do you suppose that the WNBA is going to have a come to safe moment, or what's going to happen to them?
Absolutely. Well, they're going to start losing viewership first and foremost, which is exactly what we've seen in Hollywood. It's exactly what we've seen in any other industry that tries to push this woke BS. But what's so concerning about it, Rob, is that this has been an ongoing movement. They have been trying, the Democratic Party and their woke cronies in all levels of industry. Things like sports are supposed to unite us. Things like movies and Hollywood, they're supposed to unite us. It's not supposed to be political, but they have politicized everything, that they are ruining our culture for an agenda. And I hope it, go woke, go broke, but you never know.
Yeah. Well, I saw a game the other day, and I think it was Caitlin Clark standing there. The national anthem was being played. She was the only person paying attention and addressing the flag. The others weren't. This is not 2019 anymore. They're still doing this nonsense. And I just think that they're really just frittering away all of the I wouldn't say idolatry, but there are young girls who look up to some of these players, and I think they're killing themselves.
They absolutely are. But, even 20 years ago, this stuff would have never have been accepted. And so now they're trying to change the culture for the future generation so that, a young girl looking at a sporting event, and only sees one or two people standing for the flag. We've grown up in this culture now where people are kneeling to the flag, and that's becoming normal. And that is the greatest concern, is there's only going to be a few of us left as generations, continue on, that remember what it was like when we lived in a patriotic country. That's why we need to take our culture back first and foremost.
Well, I think we are, actually. I'm quite optimistic, actually, about the future of the country. I mean, you look at what we went through to get Donald Trump into the White House. They tried to put him in jail. They tried to take him off the ballot in 20 states. They went after his followers. They censored our speech in unprecedented fashion, and we overwhelmed them and brought him to office. He even tried to kill him a couple times. So I'm not so easy to surrender on this. And I also think that the DSA has chosen a very bad year for their inorganic ascension. By the way, it's bought and paid for. It's about as organic as a Twinkie into the public, because we're the 250th anniversary of our birth. You've got Abdul El Sayed and the left also spouting off about 9/11. We deserved it in the 25th year anniversary of 9/11. I think they picked a very poor time, and I believe that this DSA movement will not be the big national change that they want.
Rob, you're absolutely right. And, I talk about this in my book too, Time to Choose, where, I talk about how the only way that we save our republic is if we, the people, remain vigilant. So yes, we had a monumental, incredible win in this 2024 election with President Trump after everything that he went through. And you're absolutely right. It caused an awakening for people to finally get up and say, I want to get involved. But at the end of the day, it is still on us. We, the people in this republic, get to determine how it goes. And so we need people to get involved at every level of the movement.
We do. Now, Florida is a pretty exciting place. We saw the other day Angie Nixon winning the primary there because she was running against a doofus with a terrible campaign and a head too fat for the shirts he wears. That said, she barely squeaked by. She chose, a very bad year to suddenly pivot into a Democrat Socialist of America, particularly in the state of Florida. I don't think it's going to end very well for her. I think she is... honestly, you look at Byron Donalds is running. He just announced a guy, Brian Avila. His parents are Cuban expats, and I think they've awoken a sleeping giant in Florida to defend against idiots like this Angie Nixon. What do you think?
Absolutely. And you've got to remember, too, there's millions of blue state refugees now that have come to Florida.
I know.
We've had about 2 million people move here. We came for freedom. And then obviously the Cuban immigrants, the Venezuelan immigrants, people who understand what communism is, not like Angie Nixon, who couldn't even, find it in a dictionary. This is it's ridiculous, but you're absolutely right. But guess what? They're young, they're well funded. And so they are going to continue to grow unless our response is just as powerful. And Byron Donalds is a great candidate, will be a great governor. And we need to continue on that in the GOP as well to fight back.
I was speaking to someone yesterday, and I have some people in my life who are, I think, unnecessarily pessimistic, and this is what Republicans do. Democrats always charge forward, no matter what, blah blah blah. Republicans are always so tentative and so cautious and so timid. I have no time for this nonsense. We are warriors. I use the analogy that Dwight D. Eisenhower didn't say to the guys charging Omaha Beach, "Gee, I hope we win." He said, "We're going to win." I believe they've chosen poorly in the state of Michigan with this Abdul al-Sayed. The Democrat Party tried to do a late-term abortion on him, but he survived. I believe that. They really didn't want him, but he's their candidate. He's going to lose that one, and I think the same is going to happen with Angie Nixon. I'm feeling good about some things that are happening in places like Minnesota. We got strong candidates up there, and I think maybe in states like Minnesota, people are tired of the corruption and the awfulness and the darkness of the Democrat Party. What do you think?
You're absolutely right. We need a great bench too. You have to look at some of these millennial candidates, like in Michigan, Abdul and Angie Nixon. They're young, and look, they are getting in the millennial base. Mondami won by all, young women in particular. And so they are manipulating an entire generation and an entire demographic. And so again, we need to have a great bench too on our side. We need to have fantastic candidates that can fight back.
I think we do. We are. But we have to look at this as we are an army. The Democrat Party has been waging a war, a de facto civil war against us with soldiers for hire from people like Antifa and whatnot. And we need to treat this coming election as a battle we must win. I want to talk to you more. We got to take a break. Can you hold on through the next break?
Absolutely.
Catalina Luff, GOP strategist, author, former GOP candidate, again, will be a GOP in office, I believe, someday. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
here on Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
They should be commended because they did.
I've had it with you.
Oh my God! They
And
should be
your
commended. They
sexism
didn't
and
kill their
misogyny.
children. She's a murderer.
I
These women
can't.
are cheering.
I'm done.
These are man-hating women that are standing outside. This is what it's about. They think the husband did it. They're crazy. They've lost their mind.
Do you know why
they're waving for a murderer?
Do you know why the woman is in a wheelchair? Did you even notice that she's
Couldn't care less. She's a murderer.
So that is an exchange between Thomas Corbett Dillon and a former Obama advisor, Lori Watkins, concerning this case, this unbelievably tragic case of Lindsay Clancy. Now, I haven't spent a lot of time talking about this because I don't think I have to have an opinion on everything. And this is a deeply personal thing. It's a tragic thing. But I would like to know what you think of it, Catalina Luff. What do you think about this woman who killed her 3 children, attempted to kill herself? There is a divide here between some who say that she was postpartum, she was this and that. She was I blame a lot of the people she was being treated by. She was on a cocktail of mind-bending chemicals. She was out of her mind. Well, what are your thoughts on this?
I think first and foremost, 50 years ago, a situation like this, there would be no gray area. Little kids were murdered by their mother. And so that is fundamentally wrong. And so now we're living in a totally, in a world where we have completely different moral universes at this point. No matter what the case is, the victims are the children. The victim is not the mother. And so that's what's so sickening about this is you're seeing all these leftist women, the same women that applauded Luigi Mangione when he, did heinous murder. And that's because, again, they've been changing the culture and, the New York Times and things like that, just almost inflating this woman and causing this, again, cultural moment. It's so sickening.
For me, I don't believe she should breathe free air again. I believe she needs to be institutionalized. I think she'd be like, President Reagan's assassin. That's what I believe. It's almost too much to think of, but I did want to know your thoughts on it. It's a very complicated case.
Look at the social media aspect of it, though, too. You have all these women who probably don't even understand the case, but because it's becoming a fad in cultural news, they're then, again, choosing this narrative. And so that just shows you just exactly where our culture is.
Yes, exactly. Let's move on. The Tate brothers, these are 2 men that I just absolutely hate. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. They are oafs. They are, I think, and I don't believe in toxic masculinity. If you believe in toxic masculinity, I got to say that I believe in toxic femininity because Kamala Harris voters are toxically feminine, feminine in a bad way. Dolly Parton was feminine in a positive way, non-toxic way. But these 2 fools, it turns out, are fake. They are cosplay millionaires. Did you hear about this? All of these, the Bentleys and all of that, the Bugattis and the super yacht do not belong to them. Do you suppose this is because they are on trial facing charges, or that they really are a couple of losers who never had that kind of money and influence?
Oh, they've been con artists since the beginning. And I'm ashamed that some, people on the right too. I think I had an opponent who was a Republican on their show. I mean, this is just sick. This is so sick.
They're grotesque men. They're not men. They're boys, and then they're sexual assaulters. They are not men. There are so many ways that you can be a man. I mean, for instance, they chose Graham Plattner because he was masculine and all this. Well, I hate to tell you this, masculine and being a man is more than fixing your carburetor in your truck, being able to bench press your own weight, and maybe knowing how to fire a gun. If you think that's what it's all about, you're a damn fool. And if you think that being a man is bedding down as many women as you can on your lot, on your yacht, and treating women like meat, you are not a man.
No, there's nothing quote unquote based about that. And that's why, somebody like Charlie Kirk was so effective, because when you talk about positive masculinity, I mean, that's exactly what I'd want a future son somebody I'd want to look up to, not these Tate brothers that are, there's nothing, again, manly about them. As a woman, I don't know how they had any sort of female following. I mean, that's just ridiculous as well. But
because some women fall for that crap.
Right.
Some women fall for that crap.
Yeah,
it is
better examples in this day and age. There have been communists, and they're very hateable. To your point,
I think we can do better, and I think these clowns are being exposed through there. One other story: did you see how Target is getting slammed for a $25 racist Halloween costume that looks a little like Jim Crow? First of all, it's a terrible costume. It looks terrible. I don't know who would want to dress their kid up in this clown costume, but they're saying it's supposed to be Jim Crow. I think what the problem is you've got probably made in China costume, copied from something, and there are a lot of people in retail in Target who are unaware of the history of this. I don't think they would intentionally do a Jim Crow costume for your kid in 2026.
They're going to have a huge PR turnaround with that one. I mean, imagine being the buyer of that costume that bought it in bulk order into every Target in America. I mean, you're fired probably, most likely.
They just keep at least it wasn't a tucking swimwear for boys who can pretend to be girls. They've gotten a little better since. Catalina, I've enjoyed our conversation today. Will you tell all of our listeners where they can find your presence online?
Yes, Catalina Lauf on all social media platforms, and Time to Choose available at all retailers and on Amazon as well.
Very good. Have a glorious rest of your week. We'll talk again soon.
Good job. Take care.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. See, it's Lauf, but they say it's Lauf. She says it's Lauf. Everybody else calls it Lauf. It's Catalina Lauf. I hope I didn't insult her. I liked her, though. Do you like the guests on camera? What do you think of the guests on camera, guys? I mean, we're doing it. Look what we're doing here, guys. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Oh. I got to return that here. All righty, let's see who else is going on here. Oh, Rumbly Roo. Excellent, Rob. It's great, Rob. I know, isn't it cool to see people on camera? Holy hell. This is like we got a TV network here. We got a TV network here. Yeah, I don't know if the blackface would be a really good. The new Al Jolson in concert. Sick of the Clancy story. I know. I don't cover it. I don't cover it. I think she needs to be institutionalized for life. That's all. Well, look at all the people talking over there on Twitter. We got all sorts of people watching on Twitter today. And I know y'all watch, but you don't normally chime in. Jack Slack, the whole transit sports thing was dead in the water ages ago. I know, 100%. It should be. All of this said. Should Lake Ontario be renamed Lake America or Lake Trump? I don't care. I think he's just playing. I think Trump's just playing with him a little bit. Oh, I got to play this next. I got one of the funniest damn things ever. It's adult content. Warning. Like the trigger warning.
Admissions free with food available for purchase by Jimmy's Famous Seafood and Kona Ice Cream. Unite to fight for Maryland's future. Don't miss the 2026 WCM Freedom Fest.
320.
All right. Led Zeppelin, come on. So I got a report from Nick Shirley. It has some salty language, so...
Trigger warning. If you are easily offended, please be advised. Trigger warning.
Of all the things that California taxpayers should be on the hook on, This is the most ridiculous thing ever. And again, it is rated PG-13.
If you thought Los Angeles and California couldn't get any more crazier, watch this.
I'd like to propose that Los Angeles consider a pilot program for free hygienic sexual relief clinics, primarily serving the homeless and unhoused.
Sexual relief clinics?
This means equality. It means private sexual relief through masturbation or, where appropriate and consensual, with a partner.
Did you heard it right?
All funded by public tax dollars and managed with professional oversight.
Yes, you heard that right. Here in Los Angeles, they're considering a pilot program for hygienic sexual relief clinics. This means that homeless would have a location for them to go.
When my wife and I were trying to have a baby, never mind.
Masturbate and have sex in. So imagine a location like Skid Row right here. They'd have a place where the homeless can go masturbate and have sex in. Who's going to go clean those places out after a bunch of homeless people have had sex, and who's going to monitor?
You know, actually, I think I'll work at IKEA. I'm cool. Thank you so much.
The ages of those individuals that are going in and having sex. We know a lot of minors live out here in Skid Row. It also sounds like this could just be a place for a lot of women to get raped, quite simply.
There is that.
And of course, this would be all funded by your tax dollars.
Yeah.
And in fact, here in California right now, they're even proposing a billionaire tax, because here in California, they don't tax people enough, apparently, and it has a 29% chance of going through, according to Polymarket. So this is just some of the craziness here inside California. They literally want to have, and are proposing to have, government-funded sex locations for the homeless so they can get off and bust a nut and have a masturbation session.
When I was 16, I would have bankrupted the state. That's about all I really have to say. The sexual release stations so homeless people can go play with themselves, and we what's they give away drug paraphernalia. What sort of paraphernalia are you? My God, please, San Andreas Fault, just break that frickin' state off and let it float away. God bless you, America's founded Donald Trump, our great president, our military, and until tomorrow, which is Thursday, do not catch the stupid like California Democrats. See you tomorrow.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is NEWSMAX. It's real news for real people.